A lot of questions right now for LSU going up into this weekend, especially also for the rest of the season. As of course, we'll have to figure out who does the team start, NVB or Nuss, for not only this upcoming weekend against Western Kentucky, but also for the final game of the season against Oklahoma next week. That of course is also will be the first thing we'll talk about. Plus, also we'll go a little bit more into the game against Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky coming in 8-2 on the year. Mostly, of course, yes, one of the top teams in their conference, in their small conference in the CUSA. Has been most of their wins and their two losses. This is sort of their first big out of conference play against a big SEC school. So, of course, and it will be at home. And of course, it will be at home and all that. But like I said before, we'll start off with talking about this quarterback situation of who they potentially will go with, not only for this upcoming game, but who they can potentially look at for this upcoming season. And I mostly say this because of one thing, and that of course is we do have some sort of update in an article talking about some sad news about Garrett Nussmeier and his injury update that could potentially push over to Michael Van Buren being the starter. But of course, we'll talk about that. Then, of course, we'll go into some stuff about the game and all that other stuff as well. But before we get on into the video, ladies and gentlemen, of course, as always, welcome to the BrewCrew channel. Of course, do football content like this with LSU and Saints and other football as well, and wrestling content as well. So if you guys enjoy content like that, if you guys are a fan of... Speak. I'm so sorry. If you guys enjoy content like that, this is definitely a channel for you. Definitely would enjoy this channel. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for future upcoming videos here on the BrewCrew channel. Now, with a weird intro like that, let's just go ahead and get right into it. And of course, let's get into the first thing to talk about, and that, of course, is who are they going to go with? Are they going to continue with Michael Van Buren and full-on burn his red shirt, or do they take the chance with Garrett Nussmeier for the rest of the year? Now, of course, we know Garrett Nussmeier, who's playing his final year right now. Would you go with him despite, yes, some injury issues, and have him play in his final home game as an LSU Tiger? And potentially, maybe, yes, you could go the route of playing him the first half and then rest him for the rest of the game and potentially maybe the rest of the season to maybe see if he can focus himself on recovering from this injury that he's been dealing with, that has been tweaking him and has cost him this Heisman type of season. Whatever you want to say, if it is him just with the talent and the season he's had, or if it's just been this injury, he can focus on trying to heal that and maybe focus on the NFL, especially for the upcoming draft after the season is done. Or do you rest him for these final two games to rest him early and you go with Michael Van Buren? Now, of course, like I said before, first, of course, let's just talk about Garrett Nussmeier real quick. Of course, I talked about him a little bit though, but Garrett Nussmeier, of course, is of course still, in my opinion, a very good, talented quarterback. I think he is a talented quarterback. It's just this year has not been his year like a lot of people thought it would be coming into this season, with him being a favorite to win the Heisman and even being the man to lead this team to a national championship. But of course, an injury has sort of forego that, and of course how he's sort of been playing has definitely not been the same type of has made him look like not the same type of quarterback we saw him last year in his first year as a starter. In his first year as a starter, it's just definitely been an underwhelming season. So there's really two options for LSU to do. Mostly three options, if you say. Either they do try to risk it and they go with him to be the starter, and maybe, yes, you go the way of starting him the first half, and then either around the third quarter or when the second half starts, then you put in Michael Van Buren for the rest of the game, and then you have Nuss try to go through a whole game against Oklahoma, or you do some sort of thing where you have him play few downs and you kind of go back and forth between the two, maybe every few drives or every drive. You go with two different quarterbacks and have like a two quarterback thing against a team like Oklahoma, which will definitely be a tough game. Be a tough game. Or there is, of course, like I said, the second option. You do still go the same route with, of course, potentially having him play in his final home game at LSU, and then the second half, or whenever in the second half, you put in Michael Van Buren, and then, of course, you have him sit out for the rest of the game against Oklahoma. Yes, of course, that is a big risk a little bit, but we already know that we're probably not going to win that game against Oklahoma, so it would be okay that we put in Michael Van Buren because we have nothing to lose. We're already bowl eligible. We'll definitely be fine to lose to a good team like Oklahoma, who is definitely a good team. And it's going to be on the road. So, I mean, so you have him sit out, try to rest that injury. Of course, he's going to be potentially drafted. Hopefully, he probably could be around the 4th round with just how it's been. 4th round, maybe quarterback, but he can definitely still potentially try to make a roster. And if he's fully healthy, can maybe try to get himself something in the National Football League. But enough about that. Or you just full on have him rest this game and the Oklahoma game, and you just go straight with Michael Van Buren. Before we get into more about Michael Van Buren, here's of course another reason is of course this article by Essential Sports called "LSU Head Coach Announces Sad Garrett Nussmeier Injury Update." This is from an interview from Frank Wilson from his press conference yesterday on Monday, as of me recording this on Tuesday. Monday is when he said this. Now, of course, we don't know much yet about Garrett Nussmeier's injury, but of course there is some stuff to kind of definitely be worried about, and definitely it looks like that third option could be the option the team might go with. Now, let's just quickly go into it. Of course, mostly just say a couple things from this article. This video might be a little bit long, but it's okay. Mostly go ahead and just say this. LSU's Garrett Nussmeier has been dealing with a harsh reality all season long. He has been playing through an abdominal injury that's been nagging him since fall camp. The Tigers are 6-4. Their offense has been anemic, and their starting quarterback has been gutting through pain week after week, trying to salvage a season. Now, with Western Kentucky coming to Baton Rouge, LSU interim head coach Frank Wilson had to deliver some difficult news about his signal caller status. Glenn West, a reporter covering the Tigers, posted an update Monday from Wilson's press conference. Quote, Frank Wilson was asked if Garrett Nussmeier was playing through the injury throughout the course of the year. West tweeted. Then would go on to say, to say he played courageously throughout the season is an understatement. He pushed through an awful lot, and I commend Garrett for that. Wilson says he'll defer to the doctors in regards to Nussmeier's status this week. Not sure if he'll play or not against Western Kentucky. Now, of course, that's a big news right there, that he's mostly saying he's just going to see what doctors say throughout the week. Sorry if my hand's in the way, my camera's tilting a little bit. But he's mostly saying he's going to kind of leave it up to what doctors say, and he's going to see if Garrett Nussmeier can play and can make it for the Western Kentucky game. Mostly saying that there is a good chance, potentially at some point this week, whether it is today of me recording this, or tomorrow, or Thursday whenever this video comes out, that there is a good chance that Garrett Nussmeier, if something changes, I'll probably post something, or try to make another video. I don't know if this video will come out, we'll just have to see, because you never know sometimes, especially me, when I record these videos. So definitely, it's just a lot. There's just a lot, that one little section right there. I'll leave a link in the description to this whole article if you guys want to go check it out yourselves. But that one little section right there mostly shows that there is a good chance that that Garrett Nussmeier might actually miss another game, miss his final home game. But then it also kind of goes to the question, does he continue, or does he even try to play next week against Oklahoma, or do you just go with Michael Van Buren for the rest of the season, is sort of the other question. Now, of course, with Michael Van Buren, who did have a pretty good solid performance against Arkansas in his first start at LSU, potentially this could be a good second start for him against Western Kentucky. And then, of course, yes, he will have a tough start against a really good team in Oklahoma on the road. So my honest opinion on this, before we get more into the game for Western Kentucky for this weekend, which won't take up much of the rest of the video, I think you go with Michael Van Buren. Yes, it will burn his red shirt, but you go with Michael Van Buren, who potentially could be your future starter for next season, for next season or the next few seasons, depending on how next year goes, he can potentially be your future starting quarterback. So you go ahead and get him the start yet again for the next 2 games, for the final 2 games this season, plus the bowl game, because you already know he's probably going to play in the bowl game because Garrett Nussmeier is probably not going to play in that to focus on the NFL draft. The reason why, of course, I would like Michael Van Buren is what I just said, is that Nussmeier can rest, he can still be on the sideline to support his team and support Van Buren, but he can heal up that injury, and he can be ready for the NFL draft. Will he be still a high draft? I don't think so, but at least he can still focus on it and try to recover from his injury. Try to recover from his injury and try to heal up. That, of course, is my decision of what to do. So, again, my decision, my opinion, I think they should go with Michael Van Buren. Yes, it's going to burn his red shirt. I mean, it's kind of already burned right now. It is going to burn his red shirt. But what else do you have to lose? You're 6-4 in the year. You're already bowl eligible. You have nothing else to lose, okay? You do lose to Western Kentucky, you're going to have probably, my goodness, that's going to be terrible. That's going to be very, very terrible. But we'll just see when this weekend comes. I mean, this is the same LSU team, despite, yes, maybe a different starting quarterback. This is the same LSU team that only scored 23 points against Louisiana Tech earlier this year, so there was that, yeah. But anyway, so kind of quickly, I know this video is probably long, and I know I wanted to kind of go over the LSU preview. Nothing really much to talk about, really. Of course, we are favored big time to win this game. Definitely looking forward to hoping to see a big performance by our defense. Hopefully, Harold Perkins, Mansour Delane, especially Harold Perkins, senior year for him. Final game at LSU for him. Oh, that's going to be pretty emotional a little bit for me. Probably one of my favorite LSU players I have watched for a long time. He's up there with some great defensive players that I enjoyed watching with LSU, like Devin White. Definitely, I don't want to say reminds me of Devin White, but Devin White was definitely another player that I enjoyed watching when he was playing with LSU, and now seeing Harold Perkins, it's just been great. A great career for him. So, final game for him, and a final game for a couple other LSU players as well. There's, of course, Mansour Delane, AJ Halsey as well on the defense, who, of course, are seniors playing in their final game as LSU Tigers. Hopefully to see big performances by them in their final game as a Tiger in the Tiger Stadium. Not of the season, but their final game as a Tiger in Death Valley and Tiger Stadium. Don't know if we'll see Nussmeier in his final game, but, of course, definitely will be remembered. Of course, not a great ending to his career, but definitely for me, I'll definitely always remember the good season he had last year. But just sadly, the hype kind of got to him, and injuries as well kind of stopped this season. So yeah, kind of looking forward to that for the game. I definitely see us putting up a good amount of points, hopefully. Yes, it's going to be one of those games like the Southeastern game that we might have a chance to put up close to maybe 40 points, which will be only the second time this season that we've only put up 40 points, because we haven't done it that much at all this year. So that's just kind of been the sad thing as well for the offense. But it is what it is. Get the win of what it is and all that. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Final home game of the season. Looking for the win. See if we can. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Oh, I don't know why I don't know what that was. I burped, and I don't know. I'm going to end it here. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of the video. What do you guys think of who will start, the quarterback situation and all that, with Michael Van Buren or Nussmeier? Let me know in the comments down below. And let me know you guys' thoughts of the game. How much points do you think we'll put up? How big of a blowout it will be? And all that other stuff as well. Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys made it this far in the video, and thank you guys for doing that. If you guys enjoyed this video, though, make sure, of course, as always, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for future upcoming videos here on the BrewCrew channel. And as always, I hope you guys have an amazing, blessed day, and I will see you guys in my next video.